Hey everybody, it's Rob. We're back. We're doing another Proving Grounds practice walkthrough. This time we're doing a machine called Sorcerer. It is a Linux machine and is rated as intermediate. And I didn't think it was too bad. So without further ado, you can see I'm on Offsec VPN and I do have the Sorcerer machine spun up, and here's the IP address. First thing that we did was we ran an mmap scan. Service version detection, T4, all ports aggressive, and a bunch of stuff came up. 2280, which is running Nginx, a bunch of RPC ports. It looks like NFS is on here. There's another Nginx instance on 7742, and then there's an Apache Tomcat server on 8080. We have a couple of other, looks like related to maybe NFS, I'm not sure. Um, this machine was a little tricky. I had to get creative. When you go to the website, there's a 404 not found. If you go to 7742, you get this control panel. You don't know what it is or what it does. I tried some default credentials like admin password, etc. None of that worked. And then on 8080 is Apache Tomcat. But once again, if you try to go to the manager or anything like that, you get access denied. So it's probably not accessible remotely. So I did go busting on the original directory. There wasn't much there. I did try to go bust on 8080. That didn't work. What I ended up finally doing was go busting on 7742. And I had to change word lists because Derby common text wasn't cutting it. So I downloaded sec lists. You can just do sudo apt install sec lists, and it'll download all of those word lists to your Kali instance. And I specifically use the discovery web content ref medium directories. And two things came up: default and zip files. Zip files is promising. So if we go to 7742 and we do a / zip files, we get a directory, listable directory with a bunch of zip files. So if we click on those, it's going to download them for us. All right, and if we go to our folder and downloads, the one, in the interest of time, that we're really interested in here is Max. So if we right click on Max and extract here, we now have a home directory. So if we go to the home directory and Max, there's a few things here. Tomcat XML. This would be helpful if we could actually get to the manager, Tomcat manager portal. So I really wasn't sure what to do with this. I tried even doing SSH with this and it didn't work. And I also tried to log into the 7742 login portal and it didn't work as well. So I wasn't sure what to do there. Next, we have this scp wrapper.shell. So if we look at this, it looks like it's checking to see when you SSH in if it involves secure copy. And if it doesn't, you get access denied. So the way this looks to me is that if you try to SSH into the machine as Max, we may have an issue. But we'll see. That's yet to be determined. We'll try it out. So there's probably some hidden files in here since this is a home directory. So if we go to view and we check hidden files, we're in luck. There's a .ssh folder. We go in there, we have a public key. So here was what I did. I dragged this public key to my Kali folder, and I also took this secure wrapper shell and moved it to my Kali folder. Now, let's get rid of hidden files just to make this cleaner. And if we look at this RSA key, it's what we expect. It's a private key. So let's open a terminal here and do an ls ail. We have to fix this if we're going to even attempt to log into it, because right now it's read-write. If you try and SSH in with this key, you'll get that this key is not secure error. The way you do that, chmod 400, which is read-only for the owner, and then IDRSA. So now if we do LSAIL on IDRSA, we get read-only. So What we could do is we could try to SSH in as Max. So let's do that. And we say yes. And we get this access denied, which looks mighty familiar to that secure copy script that we looked at. And it's saying we need to do secure copy. So obviously this script is somehow preventing us from logging in using SSH. And it's expecting us to use secure copy. So the next thing I tried to do was, well, let's use secure copy and see if we can put a file into Max's home directory. So that's what we're going to do. We'll go back to our terminal. And what we'll do is this. I use secure copy all the time because I have a bunch of Hack5's pen testing tools, and you have to use secure copy a lot of the time to get files over to those devices, such as a SharkJack and everything. So this is what it looks like. Secure copy, we're using the ID file, and what I need to do real quick is put a touch test.txt, do an ls. Okay, we have test.txt there. What we're trying to do is copy this test.txt over to Max's home directory. Now here is where I got stuck for quite some time. So we get this message is too long. Ensure remote shell produces no output for non-interactive sessions. I Googled all kinds of stuff looking for this, and I wasn't exactly sure what to do. And I finally came across this. It's similar, but not completely related. And they're recommending that you use this TAC-O flag. And the TAC-O flag uses the legacy secure copy protocol for file transfers instead of the SFTP protocol. Forcing the use of the SCP protocol may be necessary for servers that do not implement SFTP, which is secure FTP. So for backwards compatibility for particular file name wildcard patterns and expanding paths with the tilde prefix for some older SFTP servers. I was trying all kinds of flags to try and basically suppress the output, and it was a nightmare. Let me just put it that way. But ultimately what we do is if we do the same thing and we tack capital O, it will copy the file over. So now we know that this file right here is the cause of why we can't do this, right? So we could potentially modify this file, copy it to Max's home directory, and hopefully overwrite the original. And instead of basically getting this access denied and then, giving us that secure copy error, what we could do is we could change this so that it runs something else, if you understand what I'm saying. So right now you get that access denied message, and it gives you the usage for secure copy. So basically it's just typing secure copy, and when you do that, secure copy is going to say, hey bro, there's a bunch of flags you got to use, right? So like if you just do secure copy, it gives you that same error, right? So that was the big clue for me that I could potentially modify this file now that we know how to copy a file over to Max's home directory. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go here. Actually, let's close this one because this might be when it was in my other directory. We're going to open this with mousepad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this message to hacked. And then I'm going to have it try to run bash and see what happens. So if we click save, replace, and then we're going to exit out of here. And then just to be sure, I'm going to reopen it again just because I'm paranoid. Okay, it saved our changes. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our terminal, And we're going to do the same thing that we did to copy over that test.txt. We're going to just copy over that secure copy shell script. And the way you do that is just like this. Same as before. We're doing secure copy with the ID file, right? We're using the identity file to authenticate. We're putting that TAC-O in to use the legacy secure copy protocol. And then we're just copying the secure copy wrapper.shell to Max's home directory. And we're naming it what it is. So hopefully it's going to overwrite the one that's there. Okay? So we hit enter, and it says it sent it over. So now, theoretically, that secure copy barrier should be gone. And when we try to SSH in, it should run bash for us. Okay? So let's try that. And we're in. So let's see if we can do bin bash I. Yep, and we're max at Sorcerer. So now we can do ls. And it looks like we're in his home directory and there's nothing there as far as user.txt. So let's back up a directory and we'll do an ls. And it looks like there's Dennis, which I don't think was one of those zip files. We had Francis, we had Max, we had Miriam, and we had Sophia. Let's double check. Downloads. Francis, Max, Miriam, and Sophia. So Dennis was not one of those zip files. So let's cd into Dennis. And let's do an ls. And there's the local.txt. So we'll cat local.txt. And there's a user flag. So now we do our normal Linux enumeration, right? Step one is history. Guarantee it's probably only mine. It is. Then we can do sudo tac-l. Okay, sudo command not found. I don't know if that's a function of the terminal that we're using or what. But now in step three, obviously we look for files with the SUID set. And we all know this command by now. You should have this in your notes. Find root directory type, starting in a root directory type file, permissions 4000, which is files with the SUID set. Send anything that isn't relevant to our search to dev null. And we hit enter. So this is step three of our Linux enumeration. And I can see a problem already. This is not normal. Start stop daemon. Okay? So our next stop is to our favorite website, GTFO bins, and we go to the start stop daemon. And it looks like for the SUID, you're going to want to focus on this right here. So we're going to copy that. We're going to go back to our shell, and we're going to paste that in. Paste clipboard. What happened? What happened? What happened? Might not be in the path. Start, stop. Okay, so it looks like it's in the user sbin. So what we have to do is we have to do the same thing, start, except we have to paste user sbin, start, stop, daemon. Okay, and then we need to do a tac-n random, tac capital S, tac lowercase x, bin, shell, tac p. Let me just make sure I got my syntax correct so I don't have to type all that again. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll copy this just in case there is an error. I can modify it in my notes. Okay, so user sbin start stop daemon tac-n random tac-s tac lowercase x bin shell tac p. Let's hit enter. All right, who am I? We're root. So now we cd root ls cat proof.txt. And there's the flag. So what we did to exploit this machine was we ran an mmap scan. We found a bunch of web accessible ports that were available, 80, 80, and 7742. I did go busting on all of them. The only one that produced fruit was 7742. We found a directory listable directory with the URI zip files. We downloaded those zip files. In Max's zip file, we found an SSH key to log in. We also found a script that was preventing us from SSHing by wrapping it in secure copy. We had to find the right flag to be able to actually copy files over. Once we were able to do that, we modified that secure copy shell script and changed it from trying to run secure copy to running bash, got a shell. We did our normal Linux enumeration. On step 3 of looking for files with the SUID, we found that the start stop daemon had the SUID set. We went to GTFO bins, we ran that, and we got root access. So even though we got through this in 16 minutes or whatever, this took me a while. It was a great machine. I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. All the links will be in the description below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you just want to let me know somebody's actually watching these, drop a comment. I'll be happy to chat with you. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.